May 29, 1813, decades before the abolition of slavery, something extraordinary happened. A school opened its doors to educate the enslaved people of the area now known as Bethesda and surrounding communities. At a time when it was illegal to teach enslaved Africans to read and write, this bold act challenged the system of oppression and offered hope through education. That school was the first of its kind in the British West Indies, providing enslaved Africans, young and old, with the opportunity to learn, grow, and dream of a brighter future. Hello, I'm Shana Michelle, welcoming you to another edition of Uhuru, Spiritually Awakened. As we approach the 192nd anniversary of emancipation from chattel slavery, we learn about the origins of the Bethesda School and Vigo Blake, the visionary behind the initiative. Stay tuned for an inspiring program filled with history, dance, spoken word, calypso, and African fashion as we celebrate resilience, culture, and the enduring spirit of emancipation. You won't want to miss it. Ian Joseph is a community activist, Pan-Africanist, and passionate student of the history of Antigua and Barbuda. He is also an African Caribbean cultural ambassador, a tourism ambassador, and a dedicated member of the Bethesda School Heritage Foundation, where he helps preserve the legacy of the historic Bethesda School and the story of Vigo Blake. His unwavering commitment to culture, history, environmental stewardship, and national development has made him a respected voice in our community. So we are here overlooking Willoughby Bay with Mr. Ian Joseph, who is going to tell us a little bit more about the Bethesda community, the Bethesda Primary School, and its history, its origins. Welcome to Uhuru, Ian.
Nice to be here, and I hope the conversation will be of value.
Well, you have told me some things already which have intrigued me, and I would like you to just, for the viewing audience, for you to tell us a little bit more about the Willoughby Bay area, because you said something that was really, really interesting that I had never heard of before, which is why I like to do Uhuru, because I learn as much as I want to teach everyone. So, tell us, how did the Bethesda Primary School come about within the Willoughby Bay area?
Okay, so first of all, the uniqueness about Bethesda is that Bethesda started out as a school.
So, pause. So the community did not start and then the school came about. It was the other way around.
It was a school.
Okay.
And then the community became Bethesda.
All right.
The school was established in 1813, and we always like to emphasize that's 21 years before slavery,
the emancipation of
before slavery was abolished.
Yes.
So we see that as the first revolution that happened in Antigua, where black people had an organized area to be educated.
Right.
But prior to that, the people who eventually moved around the school was living in Willoughby Bay.
Okay.
There was a city called Bridgetown in Willoughby
Bridgetown.
Bay. Yeah, that sank in 1843 after an earthquake and a hurricane. It was double whammy.
We do not get this information. This is the first time today that I'm learning about this earthquake and hurricane, and that we had a city called Bridgetown that was enveloped by a hurricane and earthquake.
Yeah.
This is
interesting. Bridgetown was one of 6 towns in Antigua.
Oh wow, okay.
And it was the first trading post between England and Antigua. So the ships used to come right in this harbor to Bridgetown.
That makes a lot of sense, because we like in the eastern part of the island, and it's a nice wide open bay. That makes a lot of sense.
So let's go back to 1813, school established.
Right.
At that time, the people was living in Bridgetown. In 1843, after the disaster, because the name of the school was Place of Mercy.
Okay.
The people moved from Bridgetown to around the school.
Wow, okay.
And Freetown.
Okay.
The church that sits in St. Philip's now, the Anglican church, was part of the city that sank, and that was moved brick by brick.
Wow.
And rebuilt where it sits now.
It currently sits.
They went to higher grounds. At that time, it was all about getting to higher grounds.
Right.
And if you realize where the school was in Bethesda, that is the highest point in that area.
It is. It is.
So it was all
indeed.
about moving to higher grounds. So that's when Bethesda became a village.
Wow. Okay, so let's go back now to the beginning of the Bethesda School. I see you wearing a shirt that says Vigo Blake Day. Very nice, very nice. So tell us something about Vigo Blake.
So Vigo Blake was an enslaved African. I never called my people slaves.
No, we're changing that language.
Right.
Yes.
So he was enslaved, and he was a head slave,
Okay.
a head enslaved African, and he came up with the idea he saw there was a missionary couple, the Thwaites, who used to come to the estates to teach, but they were teaching Sunday school.
Okay.
It was the whole aspect of converting to Christianity was going
Right. So
on.
it's more biblical teaching
Yeah.
as opposed to, okay, fair enough.
But they were teaching the white children education. And he, well, we like to say him and his men and women, because this feat could not be.
It couldn't have been done on his own, right?
Right,
But he was
so-
he was the leader.
Right, he was. I think we tend to believe, because he was the head slave, our head enslaved,
Right.
that wherever the conversation started, we don't know. But he was the one that was used to speak to Mr. Blake, who owned the plantation, and demand education. So the deal was, if you could find the property, speak to the Thwaites, and they convinced Mr. Blake, and that was done. The site where the school sat, if you know the geography, the Thwaites used to live in English Harbour,
Okay.
and they used to travel to teach. There are 5 estates around, so they used to travel to teach, but they would always stop on that mound. And Mr. Thwaites always talk about the gentle breeze that comes off of. So it was a resting point, and
Okay.
they came up with negotiations. They came up with that spot, and after Mr. Blake would have agreed, then they went on a mission to build the school.
Right.
Now, think about 1813, and think about enslaved people. They had no day off.
No.
So,
Well, our history taught us that Sunday was their only day off. That's what the history that we learned in school taught us, that Sundays were the only, so they worked.
to go to church.
Yeah, so
And
they could go
could
to
not
church.
even
And they
go-
couldn't read the Bible.
Right. So, him and his enslaved people, they built a schoolroom in 6 weeks.
In 6 weeks.
6 weeks.
Wow, okay.
And then on May 29th, 1813, it was a Saturday, they had the grand opening where over 500 people showed up for
Wow.
classes
Wow. In that little schoolroom.
in that school.
Can you imagine that time? So that goes to show you the hunger that our people have always had for betterment and for improvement, for education.
For equality.
For equality, not that, I mean, that goes without saying.
Yeah.
And that was something that was really important to our forefathers, especially at that time, because
Right.
when you look at sometimes the dire situations that most enslaved people would have been living in, to have that's not just the presence of mind, but the courage to go
Courage.
to
The
the
gumption.
to the to the big
Yeah.
man and say, we would like to have a school for our children and for ourselves. That shows a lot of courage.
Well, in fact, the school was not really for children.
Well, I understand that, but for educating,
Right.
but however it worked out, the children would benefit.
Now, when they started the school, the Thwaites were the first teachers. So they, during the day, will teach the enslaved people who were too weak and sick and to work. So they would go to school in the day.
Right.
And then the enslaved people who had to work in the field will now go to school in the night.
In the night.
So the people, whatever they learned in the day, they will then pass it on to the people who go to school in the night. And that school went on there until 1961.
Until it moved to, where it presently.
Where is that now is Cochrane's estate,
Okay.
which is, like I said, there are about 5 or 6 estates around Bethesda.
So what plans does your community group have for, because I noticed that the school itself has been closed for a while, but we can't allow that legacy to be just completely eradicated. So what plans do does your community group have regarding, perpetuating that courageous initiative that our forefathers would have had back in those days?
And volunteerism. Because,
volunteerism, certainly.
Right. So I'm part of a group called the Better to School Heritage Fund Foundation. And every year we honor people in the name of Vigo.
Right.
Because now that we know, we're not going to allow the name to die.
Right.
Right. But the end result is that we need to have that plant reopened.
Right.
And to carry the name
certainly,
of Vigo,
certainly.
Baba Vigo.
Because as the first school of its kind in the
British
West Indies, we don't really like that term, but we will use it for clarity's sake.
Right.
As the first school of its kind in our part of the region, there's no way that it should just sit there. I mean, we have that legacy, we have that knowledge to pass on, so we need to do something. So you're saying that you're honoring, but how are you going to go about reopening if you possibly can?
We have already
getting
had
showers of blessings.
Well, probably the ancestors.
Yes.
We have had initial conversations with the authorities, and we're still waiting on how we can work together.
Right.
Because the property is still the property of the government.
Of the government, right.
But like I said, the end result, we need to have that. It was renovated like 3-4 years ago, and it's just sitting there again.
Just sitting there.
Yeah, so the end result is to have that property reopened again as an educational plant.
I can see that. I really wish we could have gone over there to see a little bit more, because it's really intriguing to me that we have this much history in this small area, and we don't learn about this. We don't know about this.
One thing we always say, this bit of history, although it sits in our neck of the woods, there is history, an important history of Antigua in every community.
Yes.
And we're hoping that people would unearth whatever that they know. But sometimes you have to speak to the elders, and that's what we did.
Right.
We spoke to the elders, and then we went and did our research.
Right.
In fact, in 2016, we met the descendants of the Thwaites.
Living in Antigua?
No, they're in London. So we had a reunion and they came.
Oh, wow.
And that was when we flipped the script. Because of that, when I went to school, the story was told to us that there was this missionary who decided to open the school for black people. And when his grandchildren came, grandchildren times 6, and gave us the diary, inside the diary he said it was Vigo Blake.
It was him
who made the initial move.
So they were taking the credit.
Well, the granddaughter was the one who told us, why are you guys giving all the credit to my granddad? And it was your guy.
Bless her.
Who made the initial move. And that's when we decided, no, this is our story. And
right, it has to be told.
So we flipped the script.
Good.
And there are lots of scripts that needs to be flipped. Because they say who win...
So the victor goes the spoils. Basically, whoever wins is the one who writes the story, right?
Yes.
Yes. Oh, well, Ian, thank you so much. I'm sure there's a lot more that you would like to tell us, but...
Right. So, well, I would just say, I would ask our people, speak to the elders, get the stories, and pass it on. That's an African tradition that we have lost along the way.
We have lost the history, the oral traditions that we would have had back in those days. But everybody's too busy on their phones.
Right. Yeah. So, I know, but all the information is on the same phone. You can do your research even on the phone about your own history. It's there.
Believe you. Yes, for sure, for certain. Ian, thank you.
Not a problem.
Thank you so much.
Our next guest is proof that age is no barrier to extraordinary talent. At just 12 years old, Jada Beard, known more popularly by her stage name Sweet Melody, is already turning heads in Antigua's music scene. This September, she starts a new chapter at the Antigua Girls High School, but she is already creating waves, celebrating some impressive achievements. In 2025, she won the Villa School Little Mantel Calypso competition before going on to capture the Junior Calypso Monarch title with her winning song, It's Not Every Day. Singing since she was a toddler and writing songs from the age of 6, Jada has a natural gift and a true passion for music. With dreams of a future in singing, music, and videography, she's a young star whose journey is only just beginning. Here is Jada Beard, Sweet Melody.
Train a child in the way they should grow and they will never depart from it. Bam, bam, I hear people say things were different in their time. Families would be praying the first thing as the sunrise. But things different nowadays. Everybody going their own way. Nobody has time to say, let's get on our knees and pray for our society. I am not afraid for the future of the youth. I am not afraid once we mold them from the roots. If we can be a society that lays the right foundation, my nation, I tell you I am confident that the youths will represent well. This is a tribute to our ancestors. Ever since the beginning, we were commanded by God. When you are raising your children, you should spare not the rod. But things different nowadays. Everyone exists in their own space. I wonder who would really care to get on their knees and pray for our society. I am not afraid for the future of the youth. I am not afraid once we mold them from the roots. If we can be a society that lays the right foundation, my nation, I tell you I am confident that the youths them will represent well. Now the whole world is changing more than ever before. So what I am ascertaining is our future is sure. Things different nowadays. Everybody going their own way. So help me set the track today. Let's get on our knees and pray for our society. I am not afraid for the future of the youth. I am not afraid
Javan, professionally known as Argent, is one of Antigua and Barbuda's most gifted and internationally acclaimed fashion designers and stylists. A graduate of both the UTT Caribbean Academy of Fashion Design and the Edna Manley College of Visual and Performing Arts, he holds a Bachelor of Fine Arts degree in Fashion Design, Textile Fiber Arts. His outstanding talent has earned him numerous awards, including the prestigious Edna Manley International Avant-Garde Designer of the Year and the Alternative and Avant-Garde Designer of the Year award. Argent's creativity has attracted an impressive international clientele. He has styled global music icons Shaggy and Machel Montano, along with numerous entertainers and public figures across the Caribbean and beyond. His pageant portfolio includes serving as stylist for Mr. and Miss Teen World 2014 and 2015, Miss Jamaica World 2017, and wardrobe designer for Mr. Jamaica International, while also creating designs for several local and regional pageant delegates. Born and raised in Antigua, Argent's passion for fashion began at an early age, inspired by his love of storytelling through art and design. Although naturally reserved, he expresses himself through fabric, texture, and form, transforming ordinary materials into extraordinary works of art. His fashion label, House of Argent, is the realization of a lifelong dream, an extension of his artistic vision where fashion becomes a powerful form of self-expression. Through his innovative designs, Argent continues to place Antigua and Barbuda on the international fashion map, while inspiring a new generation of Caribbean creatives. Our next performer is one of Antigua and Barbuda's most accomplished creative minds. Zara Errol is an award-winning writer, filmmaker, playwright, director, and women's rights activist whose work has inspired audiences both on stage and on screen. As a founding member of Women of Antigua and the director of Sugar Apple Theatre, she has championed powerful stories that spark conversation and drive social change. Her many accomplishments in literature, theatre, film, and television have earned her multiple national youth awards, making her a leading voice in the nation's cultural and creative landscape. Zara is also a powerful spoken word artist who captivates her audiences with thought-provoking and entertaining pieces. Here is Zara Errol.
Small enough to be more than a comma between the pages of what was, what is, and what could be. Some say use ellipses to be continued, while others punctuate our heartbeat with a semicolon, pondering between what was, what is, and what should be. Others dare to bring a finality with a period or exclamation without justification and sometimes no explanation. Black dots scattered across pages that could never be white, right? Bringing a finality to sentences that dare to capture the essence of us, the birth of us, the tragedy of us, the story of us, which could never be contained in the dry ink of a quill. Fancy penmanship from those meant to fill intentional gaps with sweetened untruths and fantastical tales of large imperial gold coasts that always seem a bit too pale. So they've mastered stories of a charming colonial past that never truly passed. But listen to her ebb and flow. Sit in silence and reverence, and let her tell you what she knows. She remembers. Her waters bringing sweet escape, her wet arms extended to offer a release. With each wave recycled and renewed, centuries old merge into present and new, still healing, still learning, still claiming, still carrying an unspoken truth. She is life and death, an angel immersed in all our hopes and fears, but She is still here collecting our silent tears. Fair Antigua and Barbuda, we, thy sons and daughters, still stand, and even when it seems we don't understand or that we have forgotten the roots of this land, we stand firm and ready to defend her shores, her pride, knowing what is hers can't ever end. We stand firm in the ancestors who fought Sankofa. We look around and we see the evidence they brought. It still lingers deep in our souls. Ashanti, Caramonte, Akan, our motherland laps at our souls as the sea whispers once more. Because even when we hold the brush for the whitewashing, one thing remains sure. As you travel solemnly along her shores, she's still here. They are still here. We are still here. And we continue to assert what is ours, what has been inherited, what has been gifted, what has been taken that we now proudly reclaim. No longer do we shy away from speaking their names. So when you hear somebody say them aga nyam, we honor our full fide inheritance and the language they brought to this land. When you wet your hand and wait for the kunumunu, better believe in the tongue of our Akan ancestors. And guess what? The fool better not be you. Because we are still here. They are still here. In the language, in the music, in the movement, in the food, and in the spirit of community. So let us not lamento our soul, as we are the preservation and solution. We are the authors of what continues to unfold. The spirit of Sankofa, we embrace what was. We create what is. And we look forward to what will be.
Beautiful afternoon. We've journeyed to St. John City to meet Ms. Vanessa Winston, the mastermind behind Bigger Designs. Now, if you take a look behind me, you will see some lovely designs made out of copper, leather, seeds, all kinds of creative things that Lisa is doing. And she's going to tell us how she got started and what's her journey been like so far. Vanessa, welcome to Uhuru.
Thank you. And well, for me, I would say that, you know, the craft, the creativity was an escape for me because I'm a survivor of domestic violence.
Oh, okay,
and
sorry.
one of the way that sometimes you tend to escape is to get creative, go within yourself.
Right.
So therefore, anytime you see I am overwhelmed, and that is the time I create even
I quite
more
understand. I
pieces
quite understand. A lot of
and
creatives are like
everything,
that.
because
Yes.
You try to escape from everything around you, and then you use all your creativity from inside, all your love, all your inspiration to build something. I would say over 20 years ago, I started my journey because I was a single mother, and I needed to find a means of income for my children, at the same time taking care of them and being able to be there for them. Now, growing up, I started growing up with my grand auntie, with my mother, my grandmother. So I didn't want, that kind of a lifestyle for the children. I wanted to make sure that they had stability.
You have to tell us where you're from.
I'm originally from Dominica.
Okay, okay.
And to be honest, I came here 3 years ago to settle my children here for school. However, I noticed that they being here and me being back home was a bit of a challenge. So I wanted to do a business here, but my focus was more or less on bringing up food.
Okay, huckstering.
Yes, the
Okay,
huckstering.
okay.
But in a different scope where I promote it as the health and wellness aspect of it. I started, however, I think I probably jumped into it too quick, meaning that I did not examine the platform that I was coming to. I did not develop my networking.
Okay.
So then I had to take a pause on that. And so I say in the meantime, I went back home, but it have been difficult being home and the children here and me alone home.
Your mind
and
can't
everything.
settle as a mom. You want to be there for your children.
Right.
Yes.
So then I say, you know what? I have my creativity, which I've had for how much years taking care of my children. Why don't you push that in the meantime whilst you try to develop what you really actually want?
You know what I'm hearing in everything that you're telling me there? The ability to pivot and to create beauty out of pain. You are blessed with that gift. That's all I'm hearing. You talking. That's what I'm hearing.
Definitely, because, and to be honest, it's an inspiration. You know, you aspire to inspire, because a lot of young women tend to think that their life end when certain situations come about because they embarrass, they feel like, but mostly all of us have a skill. Not everybody might be artistically clever,
inclined,
but then you'll have a skill, probably you can cook good. Or
I can talk, that's my skill.
Right. So there is something within us that we can use to propel ourselves and make up our mind that we can do it. And I believe if I can move out from where I was and propel myself to a different level, then I think any young woman can do it.
Tell me about the items that you have.
Okay, so we have the earrings, the copper earrings. To be honest, each piece is unique.
Right.
Because
I can tell.
I don't feel like I work with the copper. I think the copper work with me.
Okay.
Because sometimes I working with a piece of copper and I trying to get it to bend how I want it, but it actually bends.
It has its own mind.
To bend. You know, so sometimes you just have to flow with the design and mix and match. I always wanted to be a scientist in high school. But then I didn't get that opportunity to be a scientist as with the lab, with the chemistry lab.
Yes.
So then I know mix and match
This
materials.
is your science. Right.
So that is actually my lab. So you see, I would fuse the coconut with the copper, blend the coconut with the copper. We tend to have so many things plastic.
Right.
Plastic. So, and you know, processed materials. So then I decide that I would want to work more or less, I would want to really focus on natural materials.
Okay.
Right? For me, the copper tells a story. The leather tells another story. And even the botanical pieces tells another story. So like the copper is not the most resilient metal. A lot of us don't know that. Our piece of gold cannot stand without copper.
It's true.
Our silver cannot stand
It's
without
true.
copper.
They have to become alloys.
They have to mix it for it to be able to stand. Copper is the most resilient metal, and it is a purifier and everything. So for me, copper is almost like the spirit. Because you have a piece of wire, it can be broken, but then it can be mended back together.
Yes.
So it's almost like
what does that tell you? That's you.
You watch a piece of leather, right? You see the nice smooth.
And notice the Antiguan flag, Antiguan Barbuda. Yes, it's beautiful.
So you see the nice smooth surface on the leather. It's almost like you right now in front of me. Nice smooth.
Oh, thank you.
And everything. But then we have the rough
part,
edges and the rough part of life. So leather represents life. You know, it's smooth on the outside, but we all have our rough edges and our rough patches hidden. Well, what we'll say hidden in our closet. Right? Now, for the botanical pieces, like for instance, this.
This is coconut.
This is the bottom part of the coconut that attach the coconut to the branch. No. Really and truly, if you go on Google and you ask for coconut parts, this part doesn't have a name.
Oh.
It doesn't have a name.
Okay.
right? Normally it is thrown away. But yet
You're right,
still,
it's true.
it is one of the most important part, because without it attaching the coconut, holding up the nut itself
Don't have coconut.
to the branch, it don't have that coconut.
Yes.
But yet still it is thrown away. So to me, that is almost like the marginalized people in society.
Wow. Okay.
Where, you know, we undermine them and we figure that, you know, we look
We
like
ignore them.
we ignore them.
Yes.
But they are a very important part. But then you take that piece that you would normally throw away. You take that broken person and you give them some love, which is the paint. Clean them up, you paint them up, you design them, and it becomes one of the most beautiful
Yes,
pieces.
and you repurpose it. You give it a purpose because
Right.
look at how it adorns the clutch there.
Right.
That's beautiful. Okay.
To make it unique.
I'm looking at this here. The what you call this? The bead.
seeds, that
the
is the
seed.
donkey eye seed, the
Okay.
lucky seed. They call it the lucky seed or the donkey eye seed.
Okay. Never seen that plant really.
It's a vine.
Oh.
It's a vine. I think they used to have a lot of it in Antigua before. Because I remember there was a designer in Antigua who used to do a lot of her jewelry from
With
this
this,
seed.
okay.
But lately I haven't seen much of it. But I get my seeds from Dominica.
Okay.
So now there's a history behind the seed, because the Maroons have this seed. In Guadeloupe they call it the lucky seed.
Okay.
So it's like everybody want to have one. I think right now in Saint Lucia everybody want to have one in their pocket or something of that sort.
We call it Louison.
Right. And the Maroons have it there because of the shape of the seed. They said that it's like the eye of the ancestors looking down on them.
Okay.
And it used to be an indicator for them whenever the water is poisoned, so they would know when to drink the water,
Or not.
depending on whether the seed floats, whether it sinks, or so.
So you are a scientist, you're an artist, and you're an historian. What other
Yes.
talents do you have that you're not telling us about?
Well, I'm an inspirational speaker,
Oh.
I'm a motivator.
Amen.
Everything
Amen.
that make life.
I tell you, everything that you have there is just so beautiful.
Yes, look at this piece.
I'm looking at that. Listen. Now, you're going to have to run after me, because I'm going to leave with it.
Exactly.
Isn't it beautiful?
We can do ID bracelets,
Okay.
proper ID bracelets. We have this
You
one
have
says
this-
Sagittarius.
You couldn't have one with a Virgo? That's my sign.
You can get your Virgo. You can get your Virgo. So you know we can make little ID bracelets
This is
for the
copper,
children.
right?
Yes,
Okay.
copper. Everything. It starts. We do everything. We start from the actual electrical wire to the finished pieces.
Now, I've heard that copper is something that does it pull illness or inflammation? How does that
Copper
work?
is very good for arthritis and rheumatism. And it's also a purifier. If you have, in every water pump has a piece of copper, so that when the water flow through it instantly purify the water. Right? Now, the copper, most people say, oh, I don't like to wear copper because it's turning my skin green. The copper not turning your skin green.
There's something wrong.
Something wrong with you. Why the copper is turning green. And what
Right.
happens is that anytime your acid level is off, your sweat going to react with the copper and it's going to start
So
turning
it's
green.
an indicator that you need to get yourself checked.
Yes. So you either drink more water or you do a detox, but you keep the copper piece on so that you
It will-
can see when it clears.
When it changes.
Because it actually changes when your body gets back to normal.
Right. Well, Vanessa, listen, I wish I could stay with you all day and talk to you, because Vanessa is not just a jewelry designer. She is a motivational speaker. She's a survivor. She's a scientist. She's an artist. Listen, Jackie of all trades, right? Thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate the conversation today.
appreciate being with
And
you.
trust me, thank you so much.
You're
Thank you for being you. Thank you for overcoming. Thank you for being an inspiration.
I will
And thank you for being on Uhuru. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure.
Founded in 1991 by renowned choreographer and dance educator Veronica Yearwood, or Auntie V, the Antigua Dance Academy has spent more than 3 decades nurturing some of Antigua and Barbuda's finest performers. Since its launch, the organization has earned national, regional, and international acclaim for showcasing Antiguan, Caribbean, and West African folk traditions, while also producing outstanding dancers, drummers, singers, and actors. Through performances, workshops, and the biennial Out of the Drum Caribbean Folk Dance Festival, the Academy continues to preserve the region's cultural heritage and proudly represents Antigua and Barbuda on the world stage. Here is the Antigua Dance Academy.
Jump revival in a lonely way on Pocomania Day. Now hold tight, our crew. Cause when Charles and Robin there combine, it's trouble. Shako. My heart is heavy with sadness. Pastor told me you're going away. To jump revival in a country church on Pocomania Day. But think it over before you go. Think it over before. Walk away and leave me here to jump revival in a lonely way on Pocomania. Think of the good time we used to have, jumping Poco and redemption road. And when you feel the spirit, I was always around to stop you from falling down. Oh, think it over before you go. Over before you walk away and leave me here to jump revival in a lonely way on Pocomania Day. Hear me now, say come, turn the roller. Hot we hot, kiss a cold when a cold shot. Come in and this and nice up the scene. Play taka from the tambourine. Beat the drum, cause spirit in me. Can't see down, cause spirit in me. Say wheel and turn, cause spirit in me. I fish a coat, cause spirit in me. One more thing I want to let you know. There's a meeting here tonight. So come and dine now, come and jump with me and make me feel alright. So think it over before you go. Think it over before you walk away and leave me here to jump revival in a lonely way on Pocomania Day. Stop and think it over before you go. Think it over before you walk away and leave me here to jump revival in a lonely way on Pocomania Day.
The Africa CARICOM Gala Dinner, held annually over the past few years, is rapidly becoming the premier event celebrating the rich beauty of African and Caribbean fashion, culture, and heritage. Expatriates from countries including Nigeria, Cameroon, Ghana, Cote d'Ivoire, and other African nations, along with CARICOM nationals living in Antigua and Barbuda, arrive resplendent in the traditional African attire or contemporary African-inspired designs. Guests indulge in an exquisite fusion of African and Caribbean cuisine while enjoying vibrant cultural performances that reflect the spirit of both regions. For one unforgettable evening, we come together as one people, united by a shared history, a common heritage, and a collective vision for the future, celebrating the enduring bonds that connect Africa and the Caribbean. Here are a few images from last year's event. Today's program, we invite you to join us in commemorating the 192nd anniversary of emancipation from chattel slavery. Be with us on Friday, July 31st at the Botanical Gardens for the 18th annual Watch Night Gathering, as we come together in solemn remembrance of the strength, sacrifice, and resilience of those who paved the way for our freedom. Let us never forget the true significance of the carnival season. When midnight struck on August 1st, 1834, formerly enslaved men, women, and children took their first breath as free people. The joyous celebrations that followed became the foundation of the carnival festivities we continue to celebrate on the first Monday and Tuesday of August. For more information on our emancipation activities, news, and updates on the global movement for reparatory justice, follow the Antigua and Barbuda Reparations Support Commission on Facebook. I'm Chana Michelle. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Let's get on our knees and pray for our society. I am not afraid for the future of the youth. I am not afraid once we mold them from the roots. If we can be a society that